Hi, it's Sari, and as promised, I am going to be doing a quick video answering some of the most common questions that I get asked for the next 10 days. So yesterday I shared a Q&A on my page which had the answer to a few different questions, but for the next 9 days I'm just going to talk about something briefly and specifically. And these are really just something that I've just picked out randomly from the most common questions that I get asked, because I do get asked the same things all the time. So do feel free to share these videos, because you never know who may watch, who may just need to hear it or doesn't even realise that what's happening for them, and they're scared or they're worried. And these questions, I'm hoping, will reach people like that and just maybe give them the answers that they've been searching for. So today's is all about physical symptoms of anxiety. Now, the list of these is huge, it's endless, and it's different for everybody. So people will talk about having a sickness feeling in their stomach, having lumps in their throat, having sweaty palms, having palpitations. Like, the list is endless. And really, the key thing about physical symptoms of anxiety is to understand that they are a consequence of your thinking. Okay. So I get that sometimes it just feels like there's something physically wrong with you. So let's use the lump in the throat, for example. We think, oh, I've got a lump in the throat and there's something wrong with me. Now, if you've had checks and you've been told that there's nothing wrong with you, and that's likely that's a sensation of anxiety, I get that at times it feels awful. Okay, I've literally had every symptom under the sun. I can tick them all off at some stage or other. But they're harmless. And they're created by you through your thinking. And as much as we can really hate physical symptoms and feel really uncomfortable with them and will them to go away, it's actually that willing them to go away that's keeping them there more often than not. Because if you think about, and I'll tell you a little bit in a minute about how this happens, but if you think about that, you are creating those physical symptoms through your thinking, and then you're thinking about those physical symptoms, that's more thinking on top, which, yes, you can guess, is more physical symptoms. And that is why these things can escalate to the point where we really start to believe there's something wrong with us. Because we think, how can just a thought create such a horrible sensation or feeling? Okay. But actually, what's happening with those physical symptoms is exactly what should be happening. Because you're sending thoughts and messages to your brain that you are in danger, that you are threatened, and that you need to be worried about something. So in actual fact, all your body is doing is responding exactly as it should. Fight or flight. Your body is listening to those messages, to those quick thoughts that are saying, I'm in danger, I'm worried, and you're telling your brain to be ready and prepared for danger. And the part of the brain that creates habits and that we're sending those signals to is just doing what it feels is best in that moment. Now, it may not always be best for us long term, but in that very moment, your brain is just doing what it needs to what it believes it needs to be doing. And then your body's producing more adrenaline, cortisol, stress hormone, because you're telling it to. And I get that you're not directly telling it to, saying, oh, make me feel like shit, please. But what you are doing is you're telling your brain that you're in danger. And so your brain, the part that forms these habits, starts to go, oh, hang on a minute, we need to do something, and we need to do something quick. We don't need to think about medium, long-term consequences. We just need to make this person okay in this moment. It's like an emergency situation in your brain. And that's also the part of the brain that regulates your body temperature, your heart rate, all of that stuff, which is why you may then get fast heart rate, palpitations, sweaty palms. It's all being dealt with in the same area. And so what's happening with physical symptoms is we fear them, we're scared of them because they don't feel nice. And we tell ourselves that they're uncomfortable and that they need to go away, that they're wrong, that we don't want them there. Now, what happens when we start to do that is it's like layering thought on top of thought on top of thought. So you may start off a little bit anxious about something, you may be overthinking something, worrying about it. Then you start to get your physical symptoms, whatever they are for you. Then you worry about the physical symptoms. So there's like another whole layer of thought. And then it's like, what if these physical symptoms never go away? There's another layer of thought. What if I can't live my day-to-day life with these symptoms? There's another layer of thought. So each time you're adding layer, you're sending more and more messages to your brain that you're in danger. So it's going to do what it needs to do for your body. It's going to produce more adrenaline, more stress hormone, and the cycle continues. And the biggest advice, and it might not make much sense to you right now, if you've not watched any of my videos or you don't know much about the 3 principles that I use or anything like that, this may not make a lot of sense to you. But it's really about becoming comfortable with the discomfort that you have of those symptoms. So when you feel the discomfort of, oh, I can feel a lump coming in my throat, what am I going to do? That's layering on more and more thought. When actually, that is just a symptom of your body doing all the things that it needs to do to try and get you ready to protect yourself, even when it's not necessary. And the reason it feels that that's necessary is because you're telling it. And our thoughts create our feelings. So like when you watch a movie and it's a really sad movie, you might know that it's not a true story and that the actresses and actors are not real, but it doesn't mean you wouldn't cry, because you're thinking about that film in such a way that you're having sad thoughts about it, and then come the sad feelings. So I get that you, on one rational level, know that you are not faced with a tiger in immediate danger, but all the thoughts that you might be and all the what ifs and all the wonderings is creating feelings that are as though you are in some sort of danger. And that's why you're getting your physical symptoms. Now, the adrenaline and the stress hormone that you are pumping into your body when you're doing that will naturally fade away. Your body will naturally reset. That is what it's made to do. But the more you interfere with that process by worrying even more about it and trying to figure everything out and how do you stop it, because what you're trying to do really is stop what is a very natural process, a very, very natural way of our bodies to respond. And thankfully, that's how they respond, and it's to keep us safe. But we're kind of like using it in an unhealthy way when we're anxious, because we're stuck in a pattern of overthinking. So it's really about learning to become comfortable with the discomfort. I can see there someone's popped a comment saying they had it yesterday, heavy chest feeling, passed in 10 minutes, gave it no attention. Brilliant. And this is someone that I know, I see a lot pop up on the page, and I know that she has an understanding of the 3 principles, which is hopefully helping her become more comfortable with that discomfort, because having a tight feeling in the chest is not pleasant, is it? But actually it's not dangerous. It's just your body responding to what you're saying to yourself through your thinking. And if you leave it well alone and carry on with what you're doing, it will pass. But if you keep interfering and wondering and why and figuring it out, and here it is again, and oh no, I hate it. And because what you're saying really to yourself is you hate your body's natural process of dealing with fear. Your body's doing exactly what it should be. But we're just sending it the wrong signals because we're holding on to thoughts and we're trying to figure it out, and we're worrying and we're stressing and we're trying to work it all out. It's really, again, the other thing about the 3 principles, and I'll talk more about it over the next 9 days as I answer the most common questions, it's about trusting in your body's ability to reset, because it will. It always will. And I get that some people can feel in this state of panic and have these symptoms for weeks. I've had a lump in the throat symptom that's lasted weeks. I've had it for weeks. And it's almost like I get so used to it being there that I don't care so much anymore. And what do you know? It disappears. Okay, so I get that this isn't, for some people it can be 10 minutes. I get that for some of you this goes on for days, if not weeks. I've been there, but it still works the same way. It's only staying because we keep producing stress hormone and adrenaline, because our thoughts are taking us off to a place in our head that is telling our body that we are in some sort of danger, or we are soon going to be in some sort of danger. And we start to believe it. It becomes a habit. So I just wanted to say that on physical symptoms. I will be back tomorrow with another very quick video, just talking about another common question that I get asked. If you've got any questions, if you do have any common questions, do pop them in the comments, because actually I've got a plan of a few that I'm going to answer, and then I'll just answer whichever ones come up. So I hope that is in some way helpful, if even frustrating, because I know that it can be frustrating to hear someone say, oh, it's nothing to worry about, when actually it feels awful, and I get that. But actually I can't lie to you and tell you it's something major and big and that it'll never go away, because my experience personally, and lots of other people's experience personally, is that that is how it works. Our bodies will naturally reset once we stop interfering with human nature and how things work. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.